Bits, episode 7, from July 2015. This is our monthly discussion of the comics that we think deserve your attention. I'm Seth.
I'm Nick, and today we are donned with the ghost of Colby Buswell. Where have you been?
Away for 3 weeks. Northern Michigan. And then I went to Portland, Oregon, the land of green beauty. Only it was dry and hotter than hell.
Some fun?
Big fun. Yeah, 2 festivals, Bluegrass Festival, Stevenson, Washington, and Pickathon. Go to pickathon.com. You won't regret it.
Awesome, man.
But a huge music festival I helped set up and enjoy every year since 2006.
It's a long time.
You were 6 in 2006?
I was 16 in 2006.
Shut up.
As always, to start, to kick things off, we pick our favorite first issues of the month. We believe that these are the best stories that you can jump right into from last month.
And this month, we actually have a honorable mention.
Not like less than honorable, but
Yeah, well, just something that we didn't know
Doesn't
how to
really
fit
fit,
in,
yeah.
but we thought it was important. It is Island. It is a curated showcase comic magazine.
Image Comics.
It's on Image Comics. It's gargantuan. It's like 100 or so pages.
It's like a trade for $7.99.
Yeah, and it's also, so Brandon Graham, Emma Rios. Brandon Graham does Prophet, he did multiple Warheads, King City. Emma Rios, Pretty Deadly. Don't really know much else about Emma Rios except that her art is beautiful. This issue, it's basically whatever they want to do, and it's being branded as a comic magazine. In this issue alone, we get a new title written and drawn by Emma Rios. We get some multiple Warhead stuff from Brandon Graham. And we even get a little piece of prose by Kelly Sue DeConnick, who writes Bitch Planet, Miss Marvel, and a million other good things. It's about her trying to write a novel and her friend that died. And it's kind of a mixed bag, but it was awesome. And I'm really glad it exists.
I thought the prose piece was my favorite part of it.
Me too.
Really,
There
it was
you go,
well
Kelly
done.
Sue.
So not to diminish Island, just trying to fit it in
Yeah.
to our discussion because we all really
Weird
liked
book.
it, and we'll be keeping an eye on it for sure. I'm excited to see the future of it just because
Is
I
it
think
monthly?
yeah,
Okay, cool.
I feel like the comics world, creator-wise, is really tight knit, and I feel like they could probably get a good
Pretty
group
much
of
anyone,
writers to contribute.
Yeah, it's a smart move by
Yeah.
Image.
So, our favorite first comics of the month, we each chose a single issue that we really liked and decided to Hemingway review it. That means Ernest Hemingway said he could break your heart in 6 words, and we are going to try and
To melt
sell you
your
a comic
face.
in that mini. So, Colby, you're up first.
Okay, I chose Wolf. Ailes Cott, our favorite. Matt Taylor drew it. Lee Lowridge did the colors, and it's awesome.
It's pretty.
And it's thick. You get your money's worth.
That
Anyway,
said, what's your Hemingway?
my Hemingway is reality or myth. Apocalypse lies within. Yeah, go
It's a
buy it.
mysterious book for sure.
Go buy it.
I thought it was cool.
It was good.
It's getting some hate. I think anything by Ailes Cott does.
Yeah.
I also, you know what? I tweeted about it on the old Cover Judger Twitter at Cover Judger. There's no E. I like these long first issues. This one, The Dying and the Dead by Jonathan Hickman. I think getting like a little extended look makes a first issue just that much better.
Yeah.
And I hope it's a trend.
Especially when comics, especially like today, they tend to try and create development through like 6 issues rather than single issues.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There aren't very many comics that, tell a story in 1 issue, so I feel like the first issue coming out with 60 pages worth of stuff, although this one isn't the best example of like explaining a lot, but
No, but I feel
But
like
it does
the-
throw a lot of different things at you.
yeah, you're obtaining a lot of
To,
information to go forward with.
Yeah,
But I thought the
it's
world building
awesome.
was alright. We live in sort of like, it's almost like fables, where it's like these weird mythical creatures are in this film noir mystery setting, and they're all have their own intentions, and we're not sure, and it seems to be in like shitty LA
Or just real LA.
or just real LA. Is there a difference? It doesn't matter. What'd you pick, Steph?
My honorable mention first issue is G.J. Jones and Mark Waid's Strange Fruit. And my Hemingway review is Alien John Henry Fights Racism, Floodwaters.
Is Floodwaters 1 or 2 words?
It's actually 2 words in this one. I got rid of another word so I could
Is John Henry 1 word or
John-
2 words?
John Henry is 1 word. Alien at John Henry Fights Racism, Floodwaters.
Alien at John Henry?
Yeah, it's
As
1
in
word.
Alien, his Twitter account, John Henry? Or
Yeah,
just mentioning it?
at John Henry. Or hashtag, whichever.
Hashtag John Henry. Yeah, we could do whatever we want if there's hashtags. I like this book.
It's good.
It's
It's
excellent.
got some good art.
You know, the art wasn't why I liked it.
Well, you're wrong.
It's got that like weird cotton candy feel like Descender does to me. I don't know, too much white or something.
Black Light.
What?
This
Velvet
this
Fruit.
book, Strange Fruits, had too many whites in it. It's about a race.
That's actually
struggle.
accurate.
Yeah, it's.
The wrong way.
Alright, Nick, you're up next. What do you got for us?
Up next, I got a little bit of a throwback. Do you guys read Archie?
Oh.
Like at all in general?
No.
Like at Kroger, do you pick up Archie
They
and
don't
Betty?
sell Archie
That
at
was
Kroger.
9.
Yeah, they do. They got all those digests at the
No.
register.
Not anymore.
No,
But
it
no,
sells
no one
comic
has
I don't think they do that anymore.
No.
No, I've seen them and I can't wait to take a picture of them and send them to Seth. Anyway, my honorable mention is the reboot of Archie by Mark Waid and Fiona Staples. My Hemingway review is Classic Archie, Modern Times, hashtag Fiona Staples, hashtag Mark Waid. That's 6 words according to Seth.
But basically, you're saying the comic didn't need a 6-word review.
Fiona Staples. So Fiona Staples, she is the artist of Saga and a couple other things, but she is doing the art in this. The cover I just showed you is a Chip Zdarsky variant, but her art speaks volumes in this. It's so beautiful, and it really does make Archie look modern, which is
Yep.
something I didn't think anyone would be able to do. And gosh darn it, Mark Waid, who can argue with him? 2 Mark Waids, runner-ups.
Maybe next time you'll get gold, Mark.
Yeah, try harder, Mark. You're
Almost there.
almost there, but your career
trying.
is yeah. Oh well. Anyway, how do you feel about Archie? You seemed angry via text when I said I had picked Archie. You were like, Archie? Like old Archie? And I was like, it's a reboot. Fiona Staples. You like Saga? You were like, fuck that. This is stupid.
I didn't say fuck that.
No,
This
you
is
s-
stupid
you-
after you said Fiona Staples. Archie was then.
We live in the now.
Exactly.
I
I don't
only
know.
want to read
I
Ailes
mean,
Cop
what can
books.
you do except make his struggles more modern? And
He has a cell phone in this.
make
A
it less,
smartphone.
less comedic. I mean,
Why can you say that about Archie and not about Superman or Batman?
I don't know.
That's a good point.
I don't care about a high school kid. That's just a high school kid.
This was still very comedic. Jughead was genuinely funny in it. Like his little caper.
There was like a Back to the Future scene in it. It was awesome.
It was pretty cool.
Like a high school
So yeah.
talent show.
Yeah.
It was sweet.
Okay, guys. I'm glad you like it.
Please read it, Colby. We want you to like what we like. You've been going for so long.
I don't know.
That's really what we're
I
saying.
collect a lot of comics.
You're
and-
welcome.
Yeah, thank us. What are you doing?
I don't think I'm gonna start with that.
Alright, that's fine. Cool.
I'll borrow it.
Those are our honorable mentions. Colby?
Alright, now one final first issue that we all agreed on, which is momentous. Lando.
Number 1, obviously.
Good old
Obviously.
Marvel. Star
By
Wars.
Charles Soule, Alex Maleev on the art.
Paul Mounts coloring.
The color was a big part.
Disney on the financial backing.
It's been, what, 6-7 months since Marvel started making the Star Wars comics. We've got Star Wars, we've got Darth Vader, we've got Princess Leia. That one's already been finished with now. And now we have Lando,
And
Calrissian. I liked everything about it. The art looks the most like the old Star Wars movies to me. Even though it's a little sketchy and artistic. It's not like just drawings of.
It's not like a rendering. It's
Yeah, what I feel like
Well, it's-
Aaron Cassidy isn't that his name
Yeah.
in Star Wars? He does like pictures of the Star Wars characters. This is more of Alex Maleev doing an interpretation, but it just looks like it. Things look old and dusty
And
and
dark,
pulpy
like the
and-
movies.
yeah,
were.
Ari.
pulpy, and yeah, it's the colors page to page. Like
Yeah,
you were
the color
saying.
palette is what really sold this book to me art-wise. Each setting has its own feel and shading and tone that's derived from its color palette that really is just creates striking panels and moves you through these settings really, really well.
Just like in Star Wars, the movies, like the
Sure.
where Han Solo is getting dipped into carbonite, that always like strikes me because it's got all those blues and
Death
when-
Star scenes.
Death Star scenes. Yeah, it's
Tatooine, yeah. It does replicate it in that way, but it's not like a direct correlation. It's more like a continuation of the interpretation of these settings.
and it's page to page.
Yeah, each page kind of has its own distinct.
Lando's still very much a hustler.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a cool aspect. What about the story?
I feel that in an original, like an OG Star Wars comic, they've almost been elevated to like action heroes. Like they're always on speeder bikes and killing everybody. This was more of Lando hustling, and he was scheming, putting together a heist, doing stuff that I think like Lando would be doing.
Yeah, it's an interesting character because obviously I feel like it's an archetype at this point, but like someone who's a little slimy that in the end is a nice person that you root for because he's the best of the situation. After the movies, he's turned into a hero or a character that people idolize because he's so cool and he ends up being a crucial part to the team.
The only good thing we get out of this book is him not wanting to fight.
Yeah, he's not a fighter. That's something that's honorable usually. I think the interesting thing in the Star Wars universe about this character is that like he's not a huge part, you know?
Yeah.
This book is able to take this character that's like grown in importance to the fans of Star Wars and kind of give him so much background.
Yeah.
You know, he's the biggest mystery of the original trilogies character-wise, because he gets so little screen time, and his connection to Han Solo is so deep. And I think this comic really gets to delve into that, or at least kick off that exploration.
People with a bigger
Let me ask
challenge.
you guys a question about these Star Wars books. It's maybe my biggest pet peeve. There's like a line in this book about the odds. You know what I mean? Lobot says something about
Yeah, like
the
if
odds are this, and he's like something.
sometimes not knowing the odds. is-
Some people don't like knowing the odds.
Right.
Do you guys, and like this woohoo thing when they're blasting off,
Yeah.
not so much like the references in like how a character acts, but it's like the dialogue is what it is. It's nothing more than like a scratch on the surface of the dialogue. It's like, remember when he said that line in the movies? That was cool. Let's say it again in these. It's like,
I guess.
do these characters
But if
always
you got
just-
away with stealing a ship, I don't know.
I understand like the reaction, but it's like, does this character always just keep
Maybe that is a problem
maniacally
that
bringing up the odds about stuff? Is like every time he hears a
the
statistic,
odds
he's like,
one, yeah.
shouldn't tell me the odds every single time.
I don't think that'll come up again.
I
What
hope
if
so.
Lando's terrified of flying?
But in the original Star Wars,
Yeah.
in the original Star Wars book, Han Solo says something about the odds too.
Yeah.
It's like a reference to the same exact line.
It's because everyone's sick of 3PO just being a dork. Lighten up. We're the good guys, man.
I know. I really like some of these books. It's just
I meant 3PO, not
it's
you.
I
Or you are 3PO?
yeah.
Anyway, there's a cool surprise at the end of this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really think it is.
This is more of a prologue, I felt like,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
the real adventure is going to start with issue 2.
And look how cool that frame is.
It's
Look how
all
much they-
cool.
look
It's
how much
all
they-
shadow
Look how much
soaked.
they
and-
decided to leave out of that frame. That's what I really like about
Yeah.
this art. It's just
Next up, the 6 best comics
According to
us. Where were you?
Where were you, man?
And then the music starts.
This is the end of part 1, our favorite first issues of the month. Stay tuned for part 2, where we go over our favorite comics of the month.
No one's on
Check it out.
point. No one is on point with talking together.
I like that.
Welcome to Cover Judgers The Hits, part 2 for July 2015. If you missed out on part 1, you can follow the links below where we go over our favorite first comics of the month.
There's a little table of contents down there
Right there.
for your pleasure. Yeah, it's down here.
Stop that. For part 2, we discuss our favorite comics of the month, and we start off with 3 honorable mentions that just missed the cut. Each of us will get 30 seconds to introduce a comic that we thought was right up there. Colby, you're up first.
All
What you
right.
got for us?
I chose Constantine the Hellblazer, DC Comics, written by James Tynion IV, Ming Doyle, also co-writer. Riley Rossmo does the art. Thank you. Let me just say that I'm down with this new Constantine story arc. It jumps right in and lets his history play out. There's a comedic tone to All the Darkness, which is brilliantly done. His bisexual nature is a fun, small aside, too, and plays just fine into the storyline. Last issue's casual walk through New York's thin places, and even the description of such a place was mesmerizing. It went something like this: places with echoes of arcane power. Sometimes you can trace it back to a moment in time, an atrocity.
You're all done!
For eternity. Sometimes you can't, maybe
Stop.
That's like 40. Colby knows it's only 30 seconds, and he knows he can't read that fast out loud. But he tries.
Constantine.
Constantine is pretty good though.
It's
I
really
like James
good.
Tynion IV. I like Riley Rossmo the most.
The mostest.
He's literally walking through New York. And
Stop! It's
No,
over.
it's just-
the dream is
it's
over.
just so well done.
It was pretty cool.
What's your last word? Say 3 more words about it. They don't have to be in a sentence, just descriptive.
The background
No,
art.
3! The
The background art. The background art.
The background art
Oh.
is amazing. It's just-
Oh yeah.
As he's walking
my
through New
God.
York,
More
it's
words.
amazing.
What'd you pick, Seth?
I chose the Omega Men, number 2, written by Tom King and art by Barnaby Baginda. I've never read a Green Lantern comic or an Omega Man comic, but this story, only 2 issues in, is a super cinematic story about an intergalactic kind of terrorist group that is on shaky ground morally, and really introduces a lot of religious themes, and it's just really, really well done. Art-wise, storyboard-wise.
You're done. You're
That's
done.
my worst one yet.
Is it?
The third one was just as good, if you haven't read that one yet.
Is it set in the modern time or is it?
I don't know, I mean,
It's space, dude.
Oh, this is in space. Because that.
yeah.
Just because
Kyle,
of the writing. The
Kyle
writing looks like
Rayner
a-
is the White Lantern, whatever that
Uh-huh.
fuck that means.
The Green Lantern
You know what
part.
that is?
The Lantern part throws me
No.
off and makes me not want to read it.
Heard
Well,
it. but don't
I
know.
picked it up without even knowing it was a Green Lantern book, and it's a little confusing getting into it, but it's really cool. My first try is the
I'm
last
just gonna
couple
do a
of
second
videos
try
where-
and actually watch the
On
counter.
We're on point.
Well, that was my pick, my honorable mention for the month of July. Nicholas, what do you got?
My turn, eh? I picked the conclusion of one of my favorite books, Zero,
That's
by
the end.
Ailes Cott. This is the end. It's over.
So 3 trades.
This is the end.
4 trades. If you're not familiar with Zero, each one has a different artist. This one happens to be my hashtag art crush, Tula Lotte. Sup, girl? I am not even going to try to explain the meandering, strange tale of Edward Zero, but just understand this is the story of Edward Zero. He's a secret agent, he has left the agency, and some weird stuff happens to him. This particular issue, number 18, is the conclusion of his story, and gosh darn it, it was the most beautiful, awesome, definitely the most emotional of this arc, and I loved it. I won
Good shit.
the 32nd round.
You won.
Yeah, you guys would get
Practice.
gacked on Double Dare, and I get a sweet new Super Nintendo. No, I didn't practice it.
Up next, we're going to
Just-
talk as long as we want about our favorite comic of the month. Please join us.
And Colby's still gonna talk as fast as he did for the 32nd one.
You're darn
But it's gonna be
right.
5
I don't
straight.
like wasting your guys' time.
I'm just gonna be here dabbing
So
your
now,
head.
so now I got those honorable mentions in the bag, as they say.
Get pumped!
Colby, what's your
These are the
favorite,
best 3 comics that we could think of.
bestest comic of July
Right now?
2015 for all posterity to remember? What is it?
Tell the masses.
It's a dark horse.
Of course.
Abe
Of course.
Sapien number 24.
Can we ask
Okay,
you
not
3
at all.
questions before you start?
Yeah.
Okay, my first question for you, Colby.
Yes.
What number Mignola book is this for you?
Oh, I
If
don't
you had
know.
to guess.
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot I haven't read. I'm
I mean,
starting these again.
You know what you've read, though. If you had to put the issues into a number.
I don't know, like 100, 150, maybe.
That's-
Let's just
that's-
say
That's all.
7,000. Got it.
That's Magnolaverse.
That's
That's
a real
BPRD.
low ball.
That's whatever.
I would say that's a low ball.
Boy loves his Mignola.
What's your question there?
Do you
Portland represent.
actually where did that come from? I know. Okay. Do you actually like Abe Sapien, or are you?
No, I like Abe Sapien. I mean,
You just want to get closer to the old HB.
this is ridiculous.
Alright, you're all free to go.
Oh my god.
Slow it down. Take your time.
Runway free for takeoff.
Free for takeoff.
Yeah, you're good. What's that?
Colby clear.
This issue is the first of the new arc, so you could literally start from scratch with this one, with Abe Sapien, and with issue 24, and you'd only be a tiny bit confused. There are a lot of references, but you'd still get the main gist of the story. You can email me with questions. This issue finds Abe.
You can only be a little bit confused. I've read about 400
What's your email?
issues.
What's your email?
Yeah, go ahead, throw your email. It's thecoverjudger@gmail.com.
That's it. Basically, this issue finds Abe doing some soul searching, due to a fellow BPRD agent believing that Abe might have something to do with the sea-like monsters overtaking the Earth due to his similarities in appearance and so forth. So this suspicion caused Abe to leave the BPRD to kind of prove his innocence. So he finds himself in Suwannee, Florida, podunk kind of hick town in Florida, where a big thing has come out of the water and then launched gases which turned a lot of the town's population into frog people. These frog people are what kind of look like Abe, etc.
Jump right in. Only be a little confused.
That's not.
I know. I'm just making fun a little bit.
Anyway, Abe is there, starting to look for answers, and then also starting to doubt himself. Even the public, even the townsfolk, are kind of noticing his change in appearance. What he knows, just for some background, is that he was a Civil War era scientist who ran across a relic that turned him into the creature he is. He's seeing his similarities to these frog people. And he's starting to wonder if the Black Flame, which is this major villain in the Magnolaverse, and a lot of others, including a fellow BPRD agent, maybe they're right. Maybe there is something to this. So throughout the story, he's kind of missing his connections to friends and so forth. That's the cameos from Hellboy and others, Liz. So he's kind of finding himself. He's run from his team to prove his innocence, and he's finding himself more alone than ever. The artist Sebastian Fiumara does a fantastic job continuing Mignola's style. The kind of dark, a lot of dark, a lot of black, but also he's got his own flair and creative detail in there. There's an underwater sequence near the end where Abe is really searching for answers and can see the actual human likeness of the townspeople they're actually frogs under there, but he can see the humans that they were before they came in contact with the gases. Anyway, great illustrative job there. And these people are asking him, can you help us? Why are you here? What are you? Are my children alright? Who are you? So they're asking him questions as if he should know, but they're also asking him questions that he's been asking himself. So in the end, we're left with no real answers, only the fact that Abe is clearly wondering if people might be right about him. He doesn't just need to prove to them. He doesn't just need to prove them wrong anymore. He's kind of got a. He needs to know that he's not a player in all this destruction. So, in summation, buy this issue. Start reading Abe Sapien now. You won't regret it. Email me.
Sup, girl?
What's up? No, his struggles are kind of like what Hellboy's was, because he was kind of spawned to be the destruction of Earth and us. So it's kind of like the beginning stages of what Hellboy felt. I don't know if it's going to turn out that Abe is any part of this at all, but that's what we're going to find out.
So you said a relic turned a Civil War scientist into a creature.
That's right.
What the fuck is he? He just looks like an
He's-
aqua monkey
Right.
monster.
Yeah, good.
Okay, I was just wondering if there was like, because I
He
know
doesn't
there's,
have, like,
there's a lot of
he has-
folklore in these Mignola
He has
books.
C abilities, but he's not tied to a specific myth.
I thought he looked
So-
sweet in the movie.
That's what I was going to ask
Yeah.
you. Do you like the movies?
I like the movies for what they were, for sure. They were different. What was your above and beyond comic of July, Seth?
Well, I feel like this episode is a time for end.
A lot of closure in July.
Closure.
I
Oh,
think
is it
Reach
the end
comic
of the
book
Hawkeye?
masses. Yeah.
I think Princess Leia ended too. Oh well. Oh well. Try harder, Mark Wade.
You really hating on that one.
I just didn't. Everybody's giving it all this praise, and I just.
I feel like it's just,
I
I'm a
thought
hater.
Princess Leia was over.
It is over. It ended this month.
I thought it ended earlier.
No.
Maybe it ended in June. Who
Just
cares?
hating on it.
I just don't. I'm only throwing it back to try harder, Mark Wade, because you were saying that earlier.
Yeah, that
Because
was-
he's always a bridesmaid, never the bride. But
My favorite comic of July was the end of another great book. It was Hawkeye number 22 by Matt Fraction and what's his name?
David Aha.
David.
Or Aja, but I think it's
I think it's
Aha.
art by David Aha. And
Such good art too.
yeah, I mean,
Not Tanner Brown.
I don't know how much more I can say about this comic that anyone else hasn't said. I think it's probably the most critically acclaimed book of the last maybe 2 years, at least superhero book.
Superhero book, yeah.
Just some specific things about this single issue that I really loved. Just all the great callbacks. You get a callback to that issue where he's filing through all his specialty arrows. You get a callback to the issue where Clint is helping his neighbors figure out how to connect their television game or something.
Whatever.
Television. You get a good callback to the issue where he loses his hearing, and we have a lot of sign language. So it just calls back all these great issues that we remember through this amazing run of 22 comics. The villain of this arc and run is a clown. He reminds me of my favorite Seinfeld character, Crazy Joe Davola. So that was a plus. And I think this issue just highlighted all the best things about this Hawkeye run. Is it's normalizing this superhero character. It's localizing him into this one building, and he's fighting for his neighbors. He's fighting to keep his building, to keep these people living where they've grown up and settled. And it's not dealing with Hydra and supernatural and supervillains as much, but yeah, it just makes Clint Barton and Kate Bishop human beings that we can relate to so easily, while also being super funny and super heartbreaking, and it's just a great story, and their relationship really builds through this run. One of the best things about this book that I found is just the physicality of it. I feel like all of the action and fight scenes are really well plotted and storyboarded out, so it's not hard to follow what's happening. Like the detail kind of fades away and we're left with silhouettes just kind of shadow boxing for a lot of it in this issue that I really, really loved. And the ending was just so like perfect. The scuffle ends and you get 5 or 6 pages of just tying up loose ends, and then you get this 2 pages of this just cinematic sign off by the two Hawkeyes just coming together and shooting a bow and arrow into like
The
a
credits.
bullseye. Yeah, just and the credits come. It's like the end to a great movie. I don't know if I'll ever love a superhero book quite like this. It's so eye-opening for me. It was kind of a reason why I jumped back into the big DC Marvel stuff again, just from the possibility of this book. And I think that's true for a lot of people. I think it's kind of been revolutionary, and kind of the last thing I want to hit on is just this comic kind of ushers in this era that we're in of like normalizing superheroes and making it less about good versus evil and supernatural and things like that, and it really gets to the point of like anyone can be a hero. The biggest fights are the ones that are important to single people's lives, ones that we can relate to in day to day. And books that Marvel's putting out like this, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk was like this. I think it's kind of a new era in that sense, and those are the superhero comics that I am excited about. And then DC's kind of following suit with a lot of the Batman books that are coming out, Batgirl and Gotham Academy and stuff like that.
To piggyback on what you said, one of the themes of Hawkeye, the entire 22 issues, is that he is probably the only normal dude Avenger, and her, and Kate Bishop too. They are normal humans who are good archers. But it's kind of cool because we're taking a look at an actual Avenger, and the world isn't necessarily at risk, but his world is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't steal my line, you jerk.
I think you said it at the same
That's a good
time.
line.
It's cool.
I know.
Cool.
I've been saving it for this whole time. Anyway, it's great.
Say
And
it
I
again.
love
Say it
David.
again.
No,
You deserve it. That was a good line.
I know, but we
You
we
deserve
finally synced up. Also, David Aha's art is just,
And
it's so good.
yeah,
Sparse.
a taxi driver reference in this. That was awesome.
Yeah, that is cool. Great
That's
issue,
all I have to
great
say.
run. Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
So that's my favorite comic of the month of July. I think we got one more.
Yeah.
Nick,
So,
what do you gotta say?
unlike our best friend Mark Wade, we've got 2 Matt Fractions in the #1 spots for this month. Can't say I'm too surprised. Matt Fraction is crushing it.
Genius.
My #1 pick for July 2015, it came out right at the very end, is Sex Criminals, #11. I wrote a review for this on some website, coverjudger.com, and probably going to be referencing it a lot, but feel free to read it. This is #11. It's the first of the 3rd arc. You could jump right in, but you'd be really confused. It's called Maname, for a good reason. It's been 6 months since a new Sex Criminals came out, which it just makes me appreciate it more. So they can take all the time they want. But this was a true return to form. I thought the 2nd arc, at the very beginning at least, was a little lackluster. It was very emotional, but it was lacking that funny, gross sex criminal stuff that the 1st arc had.
And the good covers.
Seth hates those damn covers. The good covers are back. The humor's back. And one of the things that I reference a lot in the review is the fact that this world is building very, very naturally. So we start out with this book that is about Susie. And it's like kind of heartbreaking. She even says at some point, "This gets funny, I promise," like in the 1st issue. Then she meets John, and all of a sudden there's 2 of them. Together they have this power, if you don't know what Sex Criminals is, whenever they climax, time
It's
stops. Yeah, using sex to climax, time stops. then to save a library, they decide, well, what if we rob the bank that the library owes money to? Because that is borderline victimless. This
Robin
comes to
Hood
that.
style. Robin Hood
Yeah,
style.
Robin Hood style with sex. And but so it started off with Susie, and then it spread to Susie and John, and then we get these other characters, the sex police, who are now branching off as well, and now we're getting also Susie and John's roommates, old friends, and even calling her a love interest is kind of a mislabel. She's a porn star that John very much enjoyed when he was a child. But this world building is awesome, and just like the character list, the weird sex powers that they have are also growing. I'm not going to go into any of them, but so John and Susie, and apparently the villain Keagleface and her band of sex police, they can stop time with their powers. But we've now run into two different, very strange, unexplained different powers that are gross and weird and hilarious. It's an understatement to say I'm a fan of Chip Zdarsky's art in this. He just packs it full of jokes. They even at one point, when our character Douglas D. Douglas, who we're learning about, when he goes to an Asian store called That's Amazing, Matt Fraction basically is just writing at you saying, if I would have had a scene inside the store, Chip would have filled it with things that were just stupid and funny, and he basically would have wasted all his time trying to make this scene so funny that all of us couldn't even handle it. So I skipped it. This book was great. I can't get enough of it. And for the third arc, they are having a guest artist come in and make a not safe for work cover that is coming in like one of those envelope poly bags that your dad's penthouses come in. I'm not going to show it to you because, it's not that bad. It's pretty funny though.
Yeah.
You should just go buy it.
Who's
Also,
the
which
guest artist?
This is Brian Leah O'Malley. Also, what's kind of cool is the normal issues.
Big print there.
The normal issues come in polybags too, because a certain percentage of them, Chip Zdarsky and Matt Fraction actually go to the printing of and just draw on the covers, and there's a chance that you could get one. I think that's awesome. Sex Criminals, it is not a gross out American Pie like sex humor.
Yeah.
It's so much more than that. There is that, and I like that too, but it's an emotional,
Understanding.
awesome ride.
Well, thanks for watching. That was Cover Judges the Hits from July 2015.
Episode 7.
If you haven't watched the whole video, you can find
5.
the separate parts, separate videos below. There's some good first issues if you're looking to get into some books before. And thanks for watching. You can follow us at coverjudger.com or on Twitter at coverjudger without an E at the end.
It's on the screen already, dude.
Well, I'm just saying it out loud. Anyway, thanks for watching.
Thanks
We
for
appreciate any comments, criticisms. Maybe if we missed your favorite comic of the month, just send us a little tweet, message, comment.
We like the tweets.
If anyone's watching out there, we love you. Thank you.
We love you. We love
And as
you.
Colby would say,
We love
email me, yo.
you. Yo. Email me.
If you want.
Billy didn't read it, he's just judging the cover.
Should that be the title of this episode? Hashtag sorry, Mark Wade.
Yeah.
Why?
Because he's always second.
Always a bridesmaid.
Oh.
Always a bridesmaid. That's the title.
Always a bridesmaid.